Hi, this is Chris from the Stephanie Miller Show. Please enjoy this exclusive clip from Political Voices Network.
Hello. I hope if I am a legal expert that Donald Trump listens very carefully and takes all of my advice.
Yes. No, I just, of all the ridiculousness, this did occur to me at the time, but a legal expert is saying Trump is launching a $500 million lawsuit. First of all, it's aimed at trying to silence Michael Cohen.
Right.
It's his stupid, witness intimidation he always does.
Right.
But anyway, against Michael Cohen, alleging that he violated attorney-client privilege when he issued a tell-all book about the hush money payment he helped Trump facilitate to Stormy Daniels. But that claim doesn't make any sense for Trump, said one former prosecutor, because it implicitly requires Trump to admit that everything Cohen said, which he's now denying by pleading not guilty to the criminal charges against him in New York, are actually true. She said, on the one hand, he's saying everything is false, right? So if he was breaching attorney-client privilege, you're doing that by telling things that were said to you in confidence. But so is he saying things that Michael Cohen are saying are true because I told him in confidence and now he's breached that privilege? Or is he saying things are false? Because if they're false, why didn't he bring a defamation claim? So that kind of makes no sense. It really reads to me like he's just trying to put his defense in the criminal case out and try and get his statements out there in a court of public opinion. I also think it's worth noting there's a little bit of witness intimidation going on here. I mean, but it's gotten so ridiculous at this point, right?
Yeah, but predictable, I guess, in a certain sense that Trump and his folks wouldn't know what one hand, the right hand wouldn't know what the little left hand are doing. The idea that they wouldn't see this, though, as exactly what it is, right? Like admitting to everything. But he's been admitting to everything on television and on the internet for years.
Yeah. Oh, God. Even when Hannity tries to help him. Well, you wouldn't go through boxes yourself. Yes, I would, and I'm entitled to. Nixon got $18 million for it. It's like, oh, no.
But you would never do it, though, Mr. President. Do it. I did it. I'm still doing it.
The best.
Didn't get everything.
This is my favorite. We were saying, this morning, his tweet this morning was, the police and Secret Service, they leaked the time I'm going to be there. And basically, no one's there, Carl. It's hilarious, right? Like, we saw maybe last time was what, Jody, 50 to 75 people on the streets, lining from Mar-a-Lago. I mean, and in New York, it was all people that hate him.
Yeah.
I mean, booing Marjorie Taylor Greene or whatever, but I love this. Reacting to the NBC Live remote outside the Manhattan courthouse this morning where no one, not even the local TV stations, are awaiting the arrival of Donald Trump. Former Trump business associate Donnie Deutsch said the president's legal problems have become tedious and people are losing interest in him. That's what we just said. Yeah. Imagine by the time we're our third or fourth indictment in.
I believe that's what TV Guide said about the last season of The Apprentice, which is what brought us this presidency of his. So, look, the crowd sizes are not what they used to be. I saw aerial shots of this recent rally where they were expecting tens of thousands of people and fewer than 2,000 showed up.
Yeah.
The interest is waning, although what's interesting to me is that while the interest that we've grown accustomed to is waning, his poll numbers are solidifying in the Republican primary.
Yeah, good news for us.
And, Ron DeSantis is not.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't even know what's good news anymore. But just quickly, Donnie Deutsch said it's gotten so boring. We indicted a U.S. president for the first time in our history 10 days ago, or whatever the day was, and you hear this new charge, you just start to go blank over it. It's like it's gotten to be, as the indictments will continue to add up, obstruction of justice, we'll probably see Georgia. I'm hearing this more and more from people. They want not the 20%, not his base, not what we see in the polls, but the overall general populace has had enough. The latest chapter seems to be enough already. I can't look at this guy anymore. I don't want to see this guy anymore. There's a saturation point. You thought we would have hit it years ago, but something feels a little different this time. I think so too.
Many of us did hit it years ago. I remember thinking during 2020 that the Biden campaign should put out an ad where it was just a phone on the nightstand vibrating with an alert at all hours of the day.
Yeah.
And on weekends, on holidays, and everything else.
Yes. Do you remember our nerves? Just every time your phone, you're like, oh, what did this mother do now?
You're sitting there on a Saturday afternoon, and then your phone would vibrate out of nowhere.
Yes.
And you'd be like, oh, goodness.
Yes.
Do I even want to look?
Have you ever gotten... Yes, have you ever gotten...
All Biden had to do to make that point, though, was step back and let Trump be Trump.
Yeah.
He just had to step away. He did not go out there and aggressively campaign on the ground. He was attacked for that. but it was brilliant politicking because it exposed the worst part of Trump to people who may forget if given an opportunity. Given Republicans, it has made Republicans accept that he is an okay guy to be their guy.
Yeah.
That their standards have been pushed so low to accept somebody like him.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't know how you recover from that. I don't know if he's not the nominee and it's somebody else. I have trouble thinking that they will just snap to attention for the next person. You know, I think he will continue to have a profound impact on the Republican electorate. Even if it gets smaller, a significant portion of that electorate is still going to do everything he says. And so let's say it was a Ron DeSantis, or it was, you know, Senator Scott from South Carolina, or a Nikki Haley. I don't know if the party is capable of snapping back to its former self pre-Trump, particularly as long as Trump is still on the political landscape.
You know, Carl, obviously you've been watching everything happening in Tennessee, and in your role on the school board, you and I have talked about this for a while. I just think that this whole issue that the Republicans thought was such a winning issue, you know, parents' rights, as if parents don't have rights now, and the pitting, you know, of parents against teachers. I feel like that's not going to go the way they think it's going to go, right? I mean, I think, you know, banning books instead of guns that are slaughtering our school kids is really going to be an issue. And not just, I mean, obviously, if you look at it in Tennessee, but just around the country.
People want their kids to have access to safe, inclusive schools where they can get the rigorous academic and extracurricular opportunities to be successful after graduation. That's it. They don't want people bringing in their book banning and everything else, making it harder for other kids to exist in the school system. They just want their kids to be safe and included.
And that's an easy issue for parents to understand, that their kids are being victimized by guns, not drag queens. That none of their kids are being victimized by drag queens.
Yeah. No, exactly.
And also, what is your opinion on which is the most horrifying Republican drag queen? Because someone made, what is that meme where they made all the right-wingers?
The Republicans.
Yeah, into drag queens.
All of them are
horrific. I think Ted Cruz is the most horrifying.
Yeah. Josh Hawley could pull it off.
That was AI.
Was it AI?
It was AI, yeah.
I don't even, I think they were all AI. I'm not sure about the Ted Cruz one, but
that could be real.
That's Steve Bannon one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What was remarkable to me is that we actually have video evidence of Rudy Giuliani dressing in drag.
Yeah. And Lindsey Graham, too,
and
right?
insisted on putting him back in it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. All right. Well, Carl, what do you think? What do you think is next up? Today's deposition day in Letitia James in New York. And then what do you think? Documents or George up next?
We're going to hear a new record set about pleading the fifth.
Really? Because they're saying as of last night they don't think he's going to plead the fifth, but you never know with him, right?
Yeah, I know. I just don't see him. We've seen the depositions that he's recorded where he doesn't plead the fifth.
Yeah.
They don't typically go well for him.
Am I the only one that hopes for a Captain Queeg moment? If I were the prosecutor, bring strawberries. I'm like, can you smell these? I just not to bait him, Carl, just for fun. Okay. You are a delight, sir, and it remains on mooksforcarl.com, doesn't it? The site where we worship and support you.
We also have John Fugelsang coming out to do a comedy special for us on
I highly recommend him. Yeah.
Laughoutthevote.com. Again, that's laughoutthevote.com. If you're within 100 miles of the D.C. area, the Northern Virginia area, we encourage you to come. It's a lot of fun.
Republicans say they won't cut Social Security, Medicare, or Medicaid. But can honest, hard-working middle-class Americans really believe what these politicians say? Republicans said they wouldn't overturn Roe v. Wade. Here's what Supreme Court Justices Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, and Coney Barrett said during their Senate confirmation hearings.
Roe v. Wade. It is a precedent of the United States Supreme Court. A good judge will consider it as precedent of the United States Supreme Court.
Roe v. Wade. It's settled as a precedent of the Supreme Court.
Roe is not a super precedent, but that doesn't mean that Roe should be overruled.
Well, we saw how that turned out. They played us for fools. Tell your elected officials to keep their hands off of our Social Security and health care benefits.